Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Juan Gonzalez. Deborah Lipstadt is the Dorad Professor of Holocaust Studies at Emory University. The film Denial, based on the court case in which she was sued by a leading Holocaust denier, is currently in theaters. She joins us now to discuss the growing alt-right movement. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Professor Lipstadt.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Well, tell us about your concerns, especially first about the appointment of Donald Trump of Steve Bannon as his chief strategist.
Let me say at the outset that I don't know Steve Bannon personally. I know very little of him personally. So I have no idea if he is personally an anti-Semite or racist or any of his personal feelings. But what I do know is that he has facilitated the rise of alt-right, or maybe not the rise, but the entry of alt-right into more of the mainstream through Breitbart News. And on top of that, I mean, he has a longer record than just that, but I'll point to one example, which was the final ad that the Trump campaign put out, and he was campaign either manager or strategist, but he was he was the top person at the campaign. And the final ad, with Donald Trump's voice in the background talking about global interests, taking control of our economy. They work for people who don't care about you. They have their own interests. You saw four people on the screen. You saw Hillary Clinton, and then you saw George Soros, you saw Janet Yellen, and you saw Lloyd Blankfein.
And Professor Lipstadt, if I can for a second, let's go to that ad. We have a clip of it here so that our viewers and listeners can see what and hear what you're talking about. This is that ad.
Okay, great.
The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities.
That was the ad, and it was an extended ad, not your normal 15-second or 30-second commercial. Your response to that ad, Professor Lipstadt? Well, we're having problems with her again, but in response to the ad, Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, tweeted, quote, "Whether intentional or not, the images and rhetoric in this ad touch on subjects that anti-Semites have used for ages. This needs to stop. In the final days before the election, tensions are extremely high. It's a time when all candidates need to be especially responsible and bid for votes by offering sincere ideas and policy proposals, not by conjuring painful stereotypes and baseless conspiracy theories." That was the Anti-Defamation League. Professor Lipstadt, we're again having problems with the connection to Emory University, and we'd like to go to this other clip of Howard Dean, who is running for chair of the Democratic National Committee, a position he's held previously. He spoke with Canada's CTV about Donald Trump and his picks for senior officials.
He's a complicated guy. He appoints a reasonable person who's much more conservative than I am, but for somebody you can talk to his chief of staff, and then his senior advisor is a Nazi. I mean, what, you know.
Okay, hang on, slow down. Well, this is interesting. You're talking about Reince Priebus, who is the chairman of the Republican National Party, right? He's now his chief of staff.
Right.
Steve Bannon, who ran something called Breitbart News.
Right, which is a far-right anti-Semitic publication.
You called him a Nazi?
Well, he's anti-Semitic, he's anti-black, and he's anti-women.
He's openly said, I'm part of the quote-unquote alt-right. He is Donald Trump's chief strategist. What does that tell you?
That makes me very nervous.
That was Howard Dean being interviewed by George Stephanopoulos about Donald Trump's picks. Unfortunately, we're still having problems in connecting with Professor Lipstadt at Emory University, so we will have to return to her on another date, and we're going to move on to our next segment.